Hey, it's Adam Cardinal and company team at HomeSmart. You're about to watch Next Level Home Ownership, sponsored by TMF Mortgage Professionals at Shamrock Home Loans. Great informative series, all about bringing your home ownership to the next level. Enjoy the show. Hey, welcome back to Next Level Home Ownership, sponsored by TMF Mortgage Professionals at Shamrock Home Loans. And we're going to talk design with Jerry Batista of Traza Design. Jerry, thank you for coming out. Really appreciate this.
Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. So actually, we were talking about this a little while ago. It's like, should we mention that we've worked together? And I said, absolutely, because anybody that we refer, it's somebody that we vet. It's somebody that we've actually had experience with, that we know delivers a quality product, is on time, is professional, and that's why Jerry's here today, representing that company. So this whole series is Next Level Home Ownership, talking about 2 or 3K loans, renovation loans, selling one property, buying another investment, doing all these different things. And we're gonna, in this market, you're trying to save some money because properties are very high. So I'm gonna maybe buy something like we recently did, bought something low, and now we're gonna invest some time, money, and energy into it to redesign an existing structure. So what's the first step? I'm buying this house. I have a goal in mind, my vision in mind, but what are the first steps to design?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. So a lot of times when we approach a new project and for the first time, we first start with a consult call. Mm-hmm. We get the person on the phone, we get the wife involved, their husband involved, and we get to understand what the project is entailed, what the ideas are first, see if first we could actually help and utilize our services to help you out. We then see, okay, what are the goals of the project? Where's the project located? Mm-hmm. Get an idea of, the overall of the project, and to see if it's something that we can feasibly do. And usually there, we can learn a lot of information to see if it's a project they can, need to fulfill with the architectural designer, mm-hmm. or if that's something they can handle directly with the contractor, which a lot of times, we realize right then and there. But that's typically the first step is a phone call.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes, there are bigger projects and smaller projects. If you're just doing, hey, I'm doing a quick bathroom remodel, this might not be the way to go.
Correct.
But if you're doing like we did the whole house. Yeah. We did everything. The house we had to have because of the location where we wanted to be, but the layout and everything else was not functional. Correct, but we wanted the area, we wanted the place, and then Jerry came to the rescue. So after that initial phone call, do you come out to the home? Do you take measurements? I already know these answers. I'm asking for you. What does this look like on that in-home consult
good question.
meeting?
Yeah. So after we talk on the phone, we schedule a time to go meet the person on site. We get to look at the project, walk the project. In that in-person consult, right, we're walking through the space. We're getting an idea of possibilities. We're starting to throw some ideas, perhaps. Mm-hmm. We're getting an understanding of all the factors because every family is different. I've learned every husband, wife, every family, mm-hmm. They may have littles running around, or they may have grown kids, mm-hmm. and every single circumstance is different in their own way, which is what we've learned to kind of adapt to, which is great. But yeah, certainly we meet at the house, we talk, we get a feel for each other, make sure we're a right fit. Make sure that we can, complete a process to the best of our ability. Yep. And obviously, hopefully it's a win-win scenario because we want to make sure that you have a design that suits your needs as well at the end of it. So, we try to make sure that we can share our expertise and to see if that's something that works for the client.
I'm not good at explaining an idea verbally, but I have go on Instagram or whatever format you're on, and I'm like, oh, save this photo. Can I show you photos I have for inspiration? Hey, I love the look of this, farm era, modern mix. Can I show you that? And can you help me kind of recreate that?
Yeah, 100%. So we recommend clients who already have Pinterest boards to share them with us, any ideas that they have. And it's funny that you mentioned that because a lot of times clients may first approach a contractor when they have an idea for a renovation project. And a lot of times what the contractor needs is really an idea of what you were looking to do.
And vision.
Vision, correct.
Yeah.
And
beyond putting...
More specifically, a vision on paper.
I want a new kitchen. Well, what does that mean? And what layout? And what spacing? And are you going to have uppers, lowers? What's your elevation? There's a whole thing.
And so that's what we really do and emphasize that we have a lot of fun in really is understanding the space, understanding what the codes are related to that space, and what the client wants to see, which is via Pinterest board or ideas. A lot of times I ask a question just to kind of poke around and see, well, what would they do in this circumstance?
Yeah.
How would they feel, with this view or this function and layout? And it's really a holistic approach, So a lot of times, I like to say that I have a tendency of spending clients' money, right? Because I can design something that's, maybe over the
Taj
top.
Mahal.
The Taj Mahal, right? And so, but it's through conversation where we can scale that back to what's perfect for that person. And so, our position there is to really throw out ideas and really show the ideas, visualize that in 3D, visualize that in 2D, walk through it, get the feeling of where things are, and then ultimately have something that we can show the contractor to say, hey, look, contractor, what is this going to do for us? What does this cost? Now you can see where our thoughts are, And so it's truly, really helpful to kind of showcase that vision.
And I think it was the coolest thing talking about the 3D rendering. So when we were doing our project and you said, hey, I got this, let's set up a Zoom meeting. We did Zoom. And I didn't know what we were going to really go over. And when you brought up that 3D rendering of the house, and you were literally walking through the house, and I'm watching it, and me and my wife are looking at each other just like, oh, look at this, it's crazy. And we, to the degree of, for where we are, there's water in the back, and when he spins virtually in the room, we could see the water out the windows that don't even exist yet. It was just,
exactly.
It was so cool.
Well, so I'm glad you mentioned that because that's something that's still fairly new in our industry. My partner and I, we really kind of emphasis on technology and getting all the tools available for, what we do as designers and put that in front of the client. And typically that level of, visualization doesn't happen until later on in the process for most folks. And so what we've done in our company is to really front load that information because that helps you gain reference. That helps you understand, okay, what are you looking at when you're at the sink? What is that view? Because that's a design decision. That tells you, okay, what's the shape of my kitchen? Where is it located? And how is it going to benefit, these views?
So one of the things that we did with our primary bathroom in the shower, when we had designed that, you kept it kind of open concept straight out. So when I'm in the shower, don't visualize that, please. Oh my God. But when you're in the shower and you look out and you're looking through the tunnel of the house and you can actually see the water and, and you can see nature going by. It's the coolest thing. You feel like you're outside, but you're taking a hot shower.
What's so funny is that I love that we can incorporate this visually in 3D to scale. Which helps you really gain a accurate understanding of what that looks like in person. And so now let me ask you this, because I've walked through your house at this point now too. Now, did it work out as far as standing in that shower and looking out?
100%.
Right, it's lined up.
100%.
Perfectly, right?
You're gonna come back to the housewarming.
Of course. Of course. I mean, but that's important though, because it's like a lot of these decisions that you can front load up front before you start spending money on construction are the things that are save you money on design, on change orders with the contractor. So that's really the importance of showing you as much as possible up front and to really kind of indicate, okay, well, we can save money if we start thinking about this now because you don't have to make these changes once you start seeing it when the framing goes up.
Exactly, and then you're taking walls down, you're putting walls up, you're moving things. It becomes extremely expensive immediately.
Really quick.
On average, how long does it take from that initial phone call consultation and we lock in, we say, hey, let's sign a contract, we're going to work with you. The average, I know it's every project is always different. You might have a $5 million house, you might have a $300,000 house, but on average, let's say a mid-scale house, $400,000 to $500,000 right now in this market. How long would it take from visualization to, hey, here's the plan you get stamped by the town?
I'd say on average, we've been seeing 4 to 6 weeks for this process from start to finish. From the moment we measure the house, the moment we get in there and start talking ideas, it would take somewhere around 4 to 6 weeks. Now, again, I hate to be the guy that says it, but it does vary a lot. And the reason being is because you might have a house that has a variety of options available to you, which is great. It's a great thing to have because some people are constrained with what they can do, you know? Some walls might be too costly to move, right? And so some people have more options available, and therefore it's worth considering each option, sleeping on the option, talking with the family, you know, and really just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah.
And so therefore, those clients may take a little bit longer to turn around and come back to us with any of the changes they want to see. And so therefore, once we lock that in, then it's the documentation process is kind of like a streamlined process because now they've already slept on the ideas and the cost, you know, range of the construction project. And at that point, we can just finish out the project with the documentation and get it done. And so it does vary, unfortunately, in the short.
It's always going to.
But on average, yes. So I factor in a month or so.
Okay.
You know, what we say is like if we're the first person you call to get started on things, that's great. The earlier the better.
Yeah.
Because then you just allow yourself a lot of time. Now, that's not to say that the other factor you should have in is the permitting process.
Yes.
You know, and so that's another factor that could be a week, could be a month in itself, because you know, as you probably experienced as well. You know, some counties have, you know, 1 or 2 reviewers. You know, that person may be on vacation. And so it's a very, you know, we're dealing with humans. We're dealing with professionals or we're dealing with humans. Everybody has their own schedule and load. So a lot of factors to play in.
Oh, absolutely. So while the design work might take 6 weeks, 8 weeks, again, depending on how fast you're responding to Jerry, still that permitting process and going through, I mean, that can still take 4 or 5 months, in all honesty. But from the time you get your permit for demolition to start taking things apart while he's doing the design for what's going to go back into that space and then coming back and forth. So it's really a lot going on.
Yeah, so I want to also emphasize that in our first call, in that consultation, that first phone call, we would be able to identify some of the other things that could slow things down. You know, so if you're next to wetlands, right? If you're in a flood zone, if you're needing a property survey or a septic tank design, these are all involving other professions.
All of the above.
yeah, correct.
You know, project.
Correct.
Like I don't do anything easy.
Yeah, correct. And but that's you know, you're dealing with different professionals at that point and their own timelines as well. And so all that can start to cascade the start project. The start time. You know.
So, for instance, we're along the way, and we wanted to put down a cement pad in our building for the existing structure, and the town wanted someone else to sign off on it. So I'm like, oh, what do I do? And then you connected us with a structural engineer, who then came to the property, who then viewed everything, wrote everything up. And we also had to put a beam in. We had to figure out the pounds per square inch for carry for the roof line. And you were a great resource for that and facilitating that also, getting that done.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's really our role is to help coordinate things for you guys. And so as our you know, businesses with our clients, is we're working in the best interest of the owner at all times. Our contract isn't with contractors or with other guys. Our contract is with the owner directly. So therefore, we're in the best interest of the owner. And so if we need to bring in other engineers or other professions involved, we would as necessary. And as much as possible, if we don't need to use them on things, we would also try to save those costs as well too. So it's kind of a two-way you know, streak on there.
Yeah,
you know?
I love how this, make sure you're going back, you're watching this whole series, because we have the 203K Reno loans, we have the Title I construction loans. You're going into the design aspect, and then we have Kitchen and Bath Gallery, Dana, who's sharing all her knowledge about designing and working from the blueprints to then create that space from what they have. And everything is cohesive, right down to the Go Fix It, with their bringing in the plumbers, the electricians, all these people all at once. So it can be like, if you do it right and you have the professionals like Traza Design and Jerry in your corner, it can be, it doesn't have to be stressful. It might take some time. All things good you have to wait for. It's not going to be, hey, my house is done. But in time, you have the beautiful finished product, and you'll be happy with it, doing it the right way. Anything else of importance that you would say, hey, this is, you have to understand this as a client. You need to understand this when it comes to designing a property?
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, this industry is quite wide, right, on designer standpoint. I'd like to mention that, you know, a lot of our history as designers, and my partners and I, we spent time in the commercial sector, designing dentist offices or commercial buildings and things like that. And what we learned in that time frame, right, again, it's about 10 years worth of work experience, is the human psychology of architectural design. And so we spent a lot of times figuring out how to make things efficient,
Yeah.
right? How to squeeze out waste of things, how to make things feel more comfortable for the client.
Yep.
And so a lot of those practices we brought into the residential field. And so given that understanding of like how to maximize space,
Yep.
to make it feel better, and how to remove any waste, right? We're like master like Tetris players, right?
Yeah.
That's what it,
Yes.
you know. And so the thing is, you know, not everybody, you know,
Insert the graphic.
correct, right? You know, like not everybody's created equally, but that's something that at Traza Design we really emphasize the holistic approach of functionality,
Yeah.
right? And you know, because we, you know, I mentioned this to you and your wife as well too, is that like, you know, let's focus on making the layout
Yeah.
efficient and
Yep.
make the layout work,
Yep.
and then we'll make it beautiful.
Yes.
Because we can make anything beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
Let's make it work first. And so that, with their experience in developing and also being a landlord and understanding the real estate market,
Yeah.
a lot of our conversation can help, you know, make sure that the design is spent in the right areas as well.
Yes.
You know, because ultimately, you know, we want to think long term, right, on
Yep.
a project, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but also on the resale.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we will also take that into account. Like, hey, look, this design iteration could help resale value or it could hurt resale value.
Yes.
What are the goals, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of the conversation is front loaded for that reason, but
Yeah.
I think it's important to understand like how we, you know, take a client in through and what kind of considerations we have.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I was even just thinking, even for any investors or flippers out there, yes, you can buy the house and you can just gut it and redo it, but that saleability, the modern open concept type thing, you can help them.
So actually, I'm glad that you mentioned this because there might be multiple different kinds of buyers out there, right? Or, you know, people looking to renovate things. We've worked with clients that own their personal primary residence, right? Then we've also worked with the developers who flip the houses. And I'd like to mention that design is a spectrum of services. And so at the bottom tier of services is basic services, basic permitting sets for developers, flippers, contractors. These guys are the guys who know how to finish out a space. They know what tile they're going to use. They know what colors they're going to use already.
Yep.
They need things to permit. They need plans for permitting purposes.
Yeah.
And so we could offer a simple set just for them.
Yeah.
And then and our spectrum goes all the way to the person who wants those ideas. They want to select the tile design,
Yeah.
the herringbone pattern behind
Yep.
the backsplash, you know, things like that, where we can get nitty gritty and make sure that we have everything set up so that the contractor knows everything that the client wants. And so that's
complete package.
The complete package. So it's
Yeah.
really like, you know, we can give you just what you need to satisfy the
Yep.
city, or as much that nobody has any questions afterwards. too.
I really love on social media when you post the rendering, which was done 6 months prior,
Yeah.
and then the finished product,
Yeah.
and you could almost go like this.
yeah.
Like they're right.
Oh
like,
yeah, oh yeah.
It's so amazing.
It's so amazing how it works out,
Yeah.
and it is for us too, because obviously
Yeah.
construction can be a long process.
Yes.
And so for us, you're right. It's maybe
Yeah.
a 6-month difference between like when we design it to when we actually see it framed
Yeah.
up. You know, and I think, you know, even with your project, we did that a year ago, right, or last year.
Yeah, yeah. We
right?
were starting around
Last-
this time last year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So like it's been some time, right, since we saw
Yeah.
that, and now to see it start to come to place,
Yep.
you know, we could almost do the same thing and start
Yep.
to see the differences between design and actuality, right?
Yeah, and one thing I want to also add in is you're thinking design, you're thinking interior design and bedrooms and bathrooms and kitchens and all that stuff. Exterior,
Yeah.
you posted this beautiful outdoor kitchen area with the gazebo top and the thick wood beams and like the outdoor oven.
Yeah.
Like they can help you if you have a vision in mind or you have those Pinterest ideas. You can help them with the exterior designs, right?
So as you would know too, right, being on the real estate side, your outdoor space is almost a mirrored extension of your indoor space, right? So the outdoor kitchen, the outdoor living space, the outdoor, right, amenities. And so what we've done a lot is design really cool backyard designs, people who want to entertain, people who want to host, things like that. And we've been fortunate to do some really cool stuff with clients who are really enjoying their spaces now. You know?
Absolutely.
And
I'm a little jealous of that last one you posted.
A lot of this is because I also like enjoying this in my own personal residence as well. You know, I have a lot of the same, amenities that I know that I can enjoy, and therefore it's very easy for me to translate that, pros and cons to clients that I speak to.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome. It's all good stuff. So remember that, the outdoor space,
Oh, yeah.
it's all, new farmer's porch on the front, new decking, patios, and you name it, if it can be designed, if you have a vision for your home, Traza Design.
I appreciate that.
That's all I can tell you. Jerry Batista,
Adam.
Traza Design.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
You've been watching Next Level Home Ownership, sponsored by TMF Mortgage Professionals at Shamrock Home Loans. I'm Adam Cardinal, Cardinal & Company team at HomeSmart. Thanks so much for watching.